guys, welcome to the Music Roundtable with our hosts Lyle,
Hello.
Clint,
Hello.
Kim, hi, and I'm Vicky, where we discuss our opinions and experiences of the music we love, or maybe not.
So is that you were saying, Vicky, dumbass?
Hit the button.
Yes.
Lyle.
Yeah.
Did you?
He hit it.
Yes, I did.
Oh,
did
okay.
hit it.
Perfect.
I saw him click it, so
Yeah.
we're good to
I
go.
thought I did too. Just making sure.
We're doing our continuation on Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Because we didn't finish that.
Oh,
it was a
even,
lot.
Not even close.
No.
So, yeah, I think we got as far as discussing Bad, and then we kind of got into his world tours a little bit, and the fact that he only came to Vancouver the one time.
Yes.
For three shows
yeah.
in a row.
Yeah.
Back in November of 1984, and that was
we
his
would
only
never.
visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
10 years
Yeah.
old.
Weird.
Yeah, well,
Well,
I
we
know
were
I
never-
wasn't going to be going to that
No.
concert.
No, sadly.
No,
Yeah,
and
I don't
that-
remember
and
much
was,
of that show.
No, because you were high.
Because you were high.
I was very high.
At that age, yeah, you wouldn't have had the tolerance to it as you would later. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should go back and listen to our previous episode about MJ to relive that funny story.
I
I'm
sat
sorry.
very high in the stadium.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to imagine a 10-year-old high Lyle.
With a squeaky voice. That'd be
the squeaky
so
voice.
funny.
That would be funny.
No, it wouldn't.
I wish
Yes,
I
it would
had
be.
known you guys back then.
Wish our parents had recording stuff back then.
Right?
84. I don't even think I knew
Thank
you
goodness
then,
they
did I?
didn't.
No.
We had
No,
recording stuff,
I
but
don't.
nothing with audio. So
No,
I have like
exactly.
home movies, but no
Yeah.
audio. So I'm always like, what were we doing here? What were we talking about? My mom's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, it's hard
Sometimes
to know.
probably a good idea not to know.
Yeah, the only
Exactly.
recording we have is the one of us getting in trouble because we ate all of the Flintstone vitamins and my mom made us all throw up.
No, that's
And
not
she
crack.
recorded all of us crying and you saying no, because apparently it wasn't all of us who ate them. It was probably only one child, but all three of us had to throw up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's terrifying. So it's probably good that we don't record.
Dang.
Don't know if we'll get in trouble.
You could have
But
lived to 100 if you had kept them down.
Right? I would have been well preserved.
Those vitamins were crack.
They were. They were so
They
good.
were good.
They are not good now. I remember trying them when the kids were little and we bought them for them. And I was
Tastes
like,
like
no,
chalk.
that's disgusting. So minerally. So
Yeah.
gross. Yeah.
They're not.
Flintstones,
They're not the Flintstone vitamins we grew up.
No,
on.
ours were probably full of sugar and regret.
They're probably.
Speaks to our
Speaking
child.
Everything was full of
regrets.
sugar. Yes. All right.
Speaking of regret. Yes. Back to MJ.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I don't regret anything about MJ except for the fact that he's gone now.
Yes. Yeah. Would have been great to see him once. At least
Right?
once.
Because he was
Well,
planning a tour before he passed.
Yes, he was.
Unfortunately.
I never admitted before that I actually did see him.
No, I thought you did.
You
I thought we
mentioned
talked
that.
No, but
about
this
it.
goes
I
to
know
love and
that,
hate
but
thing.
when I've always said my first concert, I
Yeah.
never said Michael Jackson.
Oh,
for the
did you
longest
forget,
time.
or did
No.
you just want to like pretend like it didn't happen?
Pretend like it didn't happen.
Why?
I think that's
Because of
when
the
he was,
stigma?
maybe because of everything that he was going through,
Mm.
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if he was.
Good or bad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it kind of goes like what episodes way back, the love and hate thing, because
Yeah.
we were actually, because I mentioned we were talking about David Bowie the other day.
We were,
and
yeah.
it was the same thing. There was a point in time where, it wasn't cool to like David Bowie,
yeah.
and I remember that. But obviously, I like David Bowie, but
I think every artist has a phase like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Mick Jagger, right?
Yeah.
People didn't even like.
I think even Madonna's had,
Yeah. Oh,
has had, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's understandable. It's kind of like one of those things. I can remember that in elementary school, too. There was the people who liked Michael Jackson and the people who didn't, and they teased you and bugged you that you liked Michael Jackson. And if you weren't confident enough in yourself, you would just be like, oh, yeah, no. You know what? I decided I don't
I was
like
just
them.
kidding.
I was
Yeah.
kidding. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of, where that
I don't
stems
like him.
from
I'm
as
just going to moonwalk over here.
Right?
well. And we did do that.
We did do that.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I was going to say about Michael Jackson is it sucks. Like, yeah, well, with the exception of Lyle, none of us actually got to see him. But through the brilliance of a lot of things he's done a bunch of live shows and like
Yeah, that we
recorded.
can go back
so
and watch.
You can at least
Yeah.
see,
Experience it.
experience it.
Yeah.
Not quite the same, but at least get something.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some idea of how
Awesome
it would have
was.
been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Just the performance, right? You just like.
But
sad
that's
it
that's
makes
also one of the ones, like that's one of the first artists to put on a huge performance show. Like a
Yeah.
lot of
probably.
artists, they would come out and the band would stand in their static positions, and you just listen to the music, which is still a great experience. Michael Jackson went out there, and it was more than just the singing; it was the dancing and the choreography and the story behind the song kind of idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's the actual performer. The performance. Like going
Well,
to
it was a
the
show.
Well, I think
Yeah. It
that's
was a
just
show.
it. Like his albums, they all had stories in the
Yeah.
songs, right? Even
Yeah.
going back as far as Thriller.
Yeah, like
You know?
that whole album would be about
Yeah.
kind of like revolve around a show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
songs on Bad, like Dirty Diana and Smooth Criminal, and
Yeah.
like he went like way out and did these like fantastic stories in his videos. It wasn't just clips of him singing or
No.
the kind of music videos we were kind of used to seeing at that point in time.
The storyteller.
And while the videos were relatively new, so it was a whole new medium and a whole different way to tell your song or promote yourself.
Exactly.
No, it was really good. So we left off. Sorry, where did we leave off?
Bad.
We
Bad,
left out
yeah.
at Bad, and that was in '87 that was released. And then in '88 is when he purchased the 2,700 acres in California and built his
So
Neverland
cool.
Ranch,
Neverland. Always wanted to go.
which apparently he only owned until 2005.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, and I
That's
couldn't really
interesting.
find much
I thought
about.
he owned it till his
So did
death.
I. But yeah,
Oh.
It's
the-
probably all the like. We're not supposed to talk about the lawsuits
Oh,
and stuff like
maybe.
this.
yeah, maybe.
Because he had animals and everything there, right?
Yeah.
And I think amusement park rides.
Yeah, there was like
Yeah.
an amusement park and everything.
Yeah.
It was a whole.
Yeah.
Well, 2,700 acres. That's a lot of land.
It is a lot of land.
Sorry, bad joke. Got to be this high to ride, Michael.
Whoa, dude.
That's yeah. Yeah.
There was a joke that went around at
It
that
was.
time.
It was.
It was. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot of jokes and a lot of.
Well, and then like around that time too is when the rumors about the lightening of his skin started to appear,
Yes.
right? And then he actually ended up going on Oprah Winfrey apparently to explain the skin condition.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he did it. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until I did the
No.
research.
I just knew he had it, and you could tell it was happening over time. So it's not like you were doing it to yourself. Like
yeah,
if you
like
had
all of a
common
sudden one day he
sense-
was black and the next day he was white.
No, you could
Like
see
his
that it was
song?
splotchy. Right?
But also that Pepsi accident probably didn't help it because it
No.
would have taken that first layer off.
Yeah, in the certain
Exactly,
areas.
and that's when his plastic surgery kind of started was because of that.
Yeah. And then apparently
and
it's addicting. So
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, but
No.
that's a whole other.
I guess it's like tattoos though.
Maybe I
Some
don't
people
know.
find the tattoos
Some people
addicting.
find tattoos addicting. I
Yeah.
have a couple, but I not like jonesing for another.
No. Addictive personalities, that's the difference. I'm not an addictive personality
Maybe.
either. So
I know a lot of people. I know some people that have a lot of tattoos.
yeah, you do.
Yeah.
My kids.
I do.
Our children are walking, what do you call them? Artboards?
Canvases.
Canvases, yeah.
That's
Yeah, I have a
actually
couple of
that
friends
is
that
pretty
she's
much the
like
way
all
that
the
Kelsey.
time.
That's the way Kelsey pretty much looks at it. Like,
Yeah.
she literally has an arm reserved for a particular artist,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah. It's
most
my art.
most of the work is a continuation of the art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael, I don't know. Tattoos.
Because we're talking about addictive personalities and plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery and
Yeah, my bad joke there is. What are these bags under my eyes?
Oh. Well, those are your boobs.
oh my goodness,
Yeah. It's one of those Sundays, guys.
right?
It's,
Well,
Yeah.
Tuesday to the listener for when
Tuesday
this
to the
releases.
listener,
Yeah.
but Sunday for us. And that
One
just
of
tells
these
you-
Tuesdays because we're gonna
Take a break.
take a little break because we were gonna in December for the holidays and then we ended up not. But
But Lyle likes
now
to
we
just
need
like
to-
flush everything out all at once and not take the break when we were supposed to.
Well, we
which
sort
is
of
why I
did.
kind of like put that reminder out there.
Yes.
I don't know. This may not even get released next year.
It could. We rearranged for it, so we could
could,
rearrange
yeah.
and send that one out and be
So
good.
you may be listening to this after we've already had said break, or
Yes.
we're not sure yet. But anyway, that will be why you haven't heard.
But
from
we
us
will
for a
have
while.
had it, and it will be glorious.
That's right.
And we will be refreshed
With new mics.
with new mics.
with new mics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks to a certain person at Long McQuaid.
Not that he paid for them, or this has been at all What do you call that? It's not
Sponsored.
sponsored by
It's not
Long and
sponsored.
McQuaid.
No.
No.
Well, it was funny because like obviously we were thinking about mentioning because the guy at Long and McQuaid was awesome. So
Yeah.
kudos to him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then I was looking around the table and I'm going, this episode brought by Tim Hortons because I'm looking at an iced cappuccino
I know.
triple and a black coffee.
Yeah.
There's Tim Hortons cups and bags and whatever else.
We
around.
was thirsty.
It's Sunday. Okay, we're just gonna do it.
That's right.
Free advertisement. Oops, sorry.
Right.
That's okay.
But yeah, so then in 1991, he released his Dangerous album,
Okay.
which was apparently his last with Quincy Jones after 16 years of collaborating.
Well, that explains the difference in albums after that fact.
Well, and I never really listened to him after the release of Bad.
Oh, no?
Nope.
Didn't like it?
Once again, probably goes on to backlash and hate.
Probably. Well,
What age would we have been then? Because what were you more into than Def Leppard, right?
yeah, I was more into the playing guitar. Well, Slash did guest star, but just wasn't into that.
That kind of music?
Yeah, more of the, I guess, well, then it was just hard rock, but I guess the hair metal stuff.
Yeah, we
and
would have
the-
been about 16.
16?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's,
Yeah. Yeah, because you do tend to go into niches at certain ages, right? So, like, at that time, I probably wasn't listening to him as much as other things.
No, like looking at the track listing and stuff, like I only know really couple of the hits,
Yeah.
like Black and White and
Yeah.
well, that's the one that comes
well,
to
because
mind
that was
first.
the big one, right?
It was
That
the
was
big
the
one.
biggest hit. off
Yeah.
of that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Remember the Time. That's the other one I know.
Yep.
And then there was In the Closet, Jam, Who Is It? Heal the World is a good one.
It is, yeah.
And there were a couple other ones. He released like 9 singles out of that one.
It's probably farther ahead, but when you started doing the duet with Janet,
Yeah.
I guess that was the last time I really heard
Rhythm,
any
like
of his.
Rhythm Nation, like hers?
No,
or
because him and Janet did.
That was in 95.
Yeah, it was in '95. The one song that they did, which I guess was heavier for. Well, see, Jackson did that though. He always did like a heavier song,
yeah.
right? So I know there was lots of changes,
Yeah.
right? But
Well, because he went through a lot of things in those eras, right? Like where because he went like it was quite a bit of time between each album, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Because
You're-
his next one wasn't released until 95, and that was his History album.
Yeah. So it's like he was living life through there, right?
There's that, but you're also like the music industry changed
Yeah.
because obviously the big push would have been if that's early '90s, and that would have been the grunge movement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
He had to recoup, or not recoup, but like regroup, and then
So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, a lot of focus shifted to the new, which would have been the grunge. So
That's
a lot
not
of
really
people got
him.
left behind. Like so, all artists face that. It's not that they don't have great albums, great songs, and stuff like this. Is just the focus is kind of away from that, and the fan base is fickle, and it would just kind of move with the latest and the greatest, and then when that over, it'll go on to the next latest and greatest, and it's very hard for a lot of artists really to recoup and come back from that.
yeah,
Well, and his next album after that wasn't until 2001, and that was actually the last one that he made before he passed away in 2009.
yeah,
So,
yeah, he had big breaks between.
yeah.
Interesting. I wonder
Very.
if that made his albums better by having that long break and that time to reflect on what is going on the music. What do you call that?
Like more focus to the actual production
Yeah.
of the music.
Yeah,
And
then figure out what's actually good or what's coming up, or because if you think about him like a musical prodigy, right, you would look more deep into what you're doing before you do it. So I'm wondering if that's what that was about.
maybe.
Took him that long to actually kind of work through everything and figure it out, and because he also had to choreograph what, see, it's Sunday, what he was going to do around those songs too, right? He probably had that all planned out before he even released the album.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, speaking of his music making process, I came across an article, and according to him, back in 94, he said, quote, "The lyrics, the strings, the chords, everything comes at the moment like a gift that is put right into your head, and that's how I hear it." End quote. Even though he couldn't read or write sheet music, he would dictate a song to a tape recorder, singing the lyrics and beatboxing each instrumental arrangement. The recordings would serve as the foundations for his songs. In the recording studio, Jackson was known for his meticulous attention to detail. He would spend hours perfecting his vocal performances and refining the instrument arrangements. And that would probably explain, like
The
you
time.
mentioned, the time frame between albums.
That would explain
Also
it.
explains the hee and stuff like this. But that actually, like, going to that Beatles thing, then it would be it's a very similar process then, because like Paul McCartney would come out and he would just literally random say words,
Yeah.
just that would fit within the rhythm that was in his head.
Yeah.
So, when they first started a song, it made absolutely no sense, and they would like build around it until finally it formulated into
And
a
had the
song.
words. Yeah, because
Oh,
they
wow.
changed words I don't know how many times in a lot of those songs. Like, that's that. They kept singing with that word. They're like, no, let's go to this word. So, okay, that does make sense.
Right?
Well, and I didn't realize that until the documentary for We Are the World, that when Lionel Richie was saying that he had tapes of these sounds and that's how he wrote his songs. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought he played something like a piano or something, but nothing.
Nothing.
like-
That's when he
It
says
was all
like
what
he does
was
not
in
play
his
an
head,
instrument.
yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Well, and there's a lot of things you see him doing the beatboxing.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was part of it. And I guess it is, but it's also his way of performing the music or getting the music to.
Yeah, because I can totally
Yeah, like, get it-
visualize
get
that,
it out
the
of
way
his
it
head and
comes into your
into-
head and
Yeah,
it's
you
there
can hear it, yeah.
and you don't know how to articulate it. That
Yeah.
must be frustrating as hell.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's how most musicians, you have that idea and then you pick up whatever instrument and
Yeah.
you try to
To
mimic.
bring it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how a lot of things are written. It's like, I got this idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, because like, there's some that'll just start with a beat, right? And that would be them getting it out, just starting with the beat, right? He was a Jehovah's Witness before? What the heck is that? Sorry, just reading through notes. I know
No, it's
Vicky
all
was going to
good.
say something, but
I was going to say something, but yeah, apparently he didn't celebrate his first Christmas until 1993 because of that.
that I had no idea. Had no idea.
Just one of the many fun facts I found out.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking interesting. Okay, so what were you going to say?
I was going to move on to in 95, which they kind of considered the start of the decline of his career with his history, past, present, and future. Because apparently it only received a lukewarm reception despite, having all new music with collaborations such as Notorious Big, Shaquille O'Neal, Slash, as well as his sister Janet. And I was just thinking that, I think that's the first mention in my notes, but I remember reading or us talking about how her Rhythm Nation album, which came out in 90.
Yeah, it says 89 for that one.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
And now I totally lost my train of thought.
You were 15 in Michigan.
I was going to
Michigan.
say, I remember that being my favorite album at the time because I spent the summer with my relatives in Michigan that year in 1990. So, but yeah, that was his military style was their inspiration for that album, apparently. But anyway,
Oh, okay.
they say that History is probably his most personal album, mostly because his lyrics pertain to his, and this is the only time I'm going to mention it, his child abuse allegations and his anger over the treatment by the media.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, there was that big gap, 6 years, till Invincible. Apparently, that was the most expensive album ever made at $30 million to produce. Right?
We are in the wrong
But what-
businesses.
Totally.
How would it cost that much?
I don't know.
Because you're paying for every little damn thing. Each
Well,
paper
but still, like,
I don't know.
was he in the studio like 24 hours a day having everybody in there? Like,
I don't know. It apparently debuted at #1, but still received mixed reviews from critics. Addressed topics like isolation, social issues, and his continued objections to the media.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I guess between then and his passing, he was preparing to go out on tour again with This Is It.
Well, This Was
gonna
It
be-
was going to be a big thing. As
Yeah.
I remember all the promotion, everything on that. Everyone was excited because there was a world tour coming out of it, new album. And obviously it never happened because of his heart attack or whatever it was.
Yeah, we'll say heart attack.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that because we're not going to get into all of that either.
No,
No, because I don't know much about it, but
no, I didn't look really.
Like ultimately, it was a heart attack, but it was brought on by whatever he was
Medication.
taking.
Yeah.
Overdose of medication, yeah.
yeah.
There's, in October of 2009, I can't remember where it was released, but they did a documentary film. This is it. The documentary of MJ's prep for his final tour, featuring compilation of interviews, rehearsals, and backstage footage. I did watch that. It's really good.
You watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't watched it.
Yeah, I remember because it actually got released in the theaters at that time.
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. It was a
And then
big
it's
thing.
on some
Streaming
platform,
scene, yeah.
Netflix or Disney or something. Probably
Or-
Disney because they seem to own everything.
They do.
Well, there was that
They do.
podcast too. That was
Yeah, but that was dealing. Yeah, there was the podcast. It did a lot with his personal life, his early life, how they got started in the career and stuff like that. So that was a good one too. But it really got into the allegations and all of
Yeah,
that.
towards the
So
end of it,
yeah.
yeah.
So go find that one if you want to listen to all that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's interesting.
Right.
However,
Well, that was the thing. Like I was going to say, like he stayed pretty low key at one point, right? Like
Yeah,
especially during
off
the
the
90s
radar.
and
Yeah.
dealing
Which-
with all the other stuff. But
couldn't that really have been too? He was trying to be a family man at that point. What time were the kids born here? Let's see. I think the kids were born. Let's see.
Quite possibly, though, right?
One sec. Yeah, because I think, wasn't it the
Weren't they in here?
90s? Let's see. Prince Jackson was born 1997.
yeah,
So
And he's the oldest?
He's the oldest. And he would have, I don't think he courted their mom for very long, but he knew her for a long time because she was the receptionist at the dental office where he went. That's where he
okay.
met her, at least from
Okay.
what I remember years ago.
So that's probably another reason for that 6-year gap between albums too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just maybe.
Time
you
to
know.
start a family and stuff,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
which happens
Yeah.
to a lot of artists.
Because
Right?
Paris was born in 98. So like they had 2 kids like
Right away.
pretty
Yeah.
quick. And then Biggie wasn't born until 2002. So, but
Isn't
then
that,
at that
isn't
point,
that the one that nobody knows who the mother is?
yeah, he used a surrogate, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other 2 are definitely the same mom. Because he wanted to be a dad. And that was one thing you could see that.
Mm-hmm.
You totally could. I mean, other than that one issue where, they
Yeah.
got the pictures of him holding the baby over the side of the thing. But,
but
that.
Well, I think that was part of the reason why he and Lisa Marie didn't stay together is because
Yeah,
he wanted kids and she
kids.
didn't.
Yeah, because even Lisa Marie spoke very highly of him.
Mm-hmm.
Even her daughter, she remembers nothing but fond and kind memories.
Yeah.
So the person that you see outward isn't the same person that they saw inward, is what they both had said, which makes sense. Like I said, to me, I can see that father figure in him in that in those years.
Yeah.
And how much he loved those kids and wanted to be a dad. So that's
Well,
probably
that's
his
the-
biggest accomplishment is those 3 kids,
Yeah, for
well,
sure.
yeah, and that's what you're saying. Like what
His
we
biggest
see
legacy.
out here is not what you see on the inside.
No.
And it's also what the media
perceives
makes up
them.
to,
Yeah.
right?
Media is the crux.
Well-
of
Well, it's a
everybody.
necessary-
Imagine being in
it's-
the media eye, like in the public eye for however long he was.
Since he was a child.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you're
Yeah, it's a necessary evil, but it always goes too far. Like, obviously, you need the media there to promote the products, but pretty much they use you as a story. So ultimately, sometimes they go in with their own agenda to make you fit their narration.
Yeah.
So, like, truly, as fans and stuff, we never really know what's going on in the life, what's going on behind closed doors. And
Yeah.
obviously, in this particular artist, there is a lot of scandal around it, and I don't want to get into the details of any of that. I want to admire the artist for the product that he produced and brought out to the world. That was one thing I was going to say is most artists and bands, like, at a certain point, they do hit that family time, I want to call it, and they start family, so they pull back, and it's probably a promoter's nightmare because you take a lot of artists and they hit with the right albums, and a promoter is just, you got to get out a tour, you got to do a new album, you got to push.
And he didn't
And then
follow along with that.
Eventually,
I don't
like, a lot of artists are like, no, stop. And like, on a promoter's eyes, you disappear from public eye for 5 years, you're
You're
dead.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's true. But I think the stronger ones are the ones that go, no, I'm doing what I want to do. And he clearly did.
Yeah.
He took the time away and did what he did and still was able to make a good living at what he did put out. But like we were talking about.
Oh, heck, even posthumously, like,
Yeah.
he's still making
Yeah.
so much money.
More money than we'll ever see.
Right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like his kids are well taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting. Like, 'cause you look at that compared to Elvis too, same thing, right?
Yeah.
He's still making money and will.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
owned however many other catalogs of music. Like,
Yep.
he was always like, he didn't even have to record anything
No.
ever
They
again.
get to that point.
He could have
right?
just performed and
Yep.
that's it.
Yeah.
But he's a musician and
That's what he wants to do.
they all want to make new music regardless, right?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's one of the things, is like, that's almost the goal you strive for, is to get to that point where you don't need the music to support you. So what you're putting out is more a labor of love. Because
Yeah.
there's no one can tell you what to do or whatever. You get to put what
You want out in the
there.
world. Yeah.
Because nothing worse than like artists going in and this is my idea and this is what I'm going to record, and then the producer or whoever is going, well, no, you're going to change it like this. And like, don't get me wrong, some of the producers and everything out there, their changes are what make the album. But on the same token, you want to be true to the artist. Let them record and release what they want. Maybe it shouldn't be about the $1 million sales, and just get out the music that is real.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because like we mentioned, like his Dangerous album was the last one with Quincy Jones. And I came across a quote from him, Quincy Jones, I mean, saying, quote, "We shared the 80s, achieving heights that I can humbly say may never be reached again. There will be a lot written about what came next in Michael Jackson's life," because he's talking about when he passed. "But for me, all that is just noise. I promise you, in 50, 75, 100 years, what will be remembered is the music."
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah. You don't remember all the scandal. You don't remember all the bad necessarily, right? Some of the good should outweigh that bad, and the music is the good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Because we figured we stopped listening around, what was it?
Around Dangerous.
Dangerous.
I was gonna say-
Because we were looking
Yeah.
at the songs and we're like, I don't know any of these songs off of the last two albums.
But then that's in our own taste too, and
It-
the
yeah.
change, the
Yeah.
change in the
Totally.
music surround landscape and stuff
Yeah.
like this. So that would have influence on us, much like kids nowadays listen to their music and we're going, "What's this noise?"
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
would be horrible to say, but
Or a lot of their music is just our music redone.
Sure the heck is. We've noticed.
Right?
So
Yeah.
I
what was
guess
the
maybe
one
we
you
need
said was folk music or something?
I heard a polka version of Push It at work the other day. I was sitting in the office doing an order, and I'm like, I know this song, and I'm listening, and I'm like, I swear it was the funniest thing I've ever heard. I was laughing
that
so
would
hard.
be hilarious. We have to look that up
Yeah,
after.
it
We've
was-
got to play
I
that.
don't even know what I tried to Shazam it. I was like holding my phone up against the speaker, and Shazam couldn't figure out what it was. So
You're
I
like,
don't know.
No, we don't recognize polka.
No, it was so
God.
funny though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So we may have to take a listen to
And then
those last two
I
albums.
messaged you guys this morning a bluegrass like banjo version of Love Bites, and I was like, I'm listening to the lyrics, and I didn't get it till it got to the chorus, and I was like,
Oh,
that's what that
Love
is.
Bites. Okay. That's so funny.
Yeah, I don't know what station they've got it on at work, but it's weird.
That does sound weird. You need to find out what the station
I
is.
do.
When your greatest hits become elevator music.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when
what
you
it
no
feels
longer,
like.
what is it? They no longer have the rights to their music, so anybody can do what they
Anybody
want.
can do what they want. Yeah,
Jeez.
it's
Yeah.
terrible.
No, it's not okay.
No,
Some
no.
things just need to be left alone.
Right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was the end of it, right? His-
That end of his like music and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I have notes about a bunch of like fun things to know about MJ.
Yeah, like I didn't know he had the star on the Walk of Fame. I had no idea. But when I did that, I also found a bunch of people who like declined to have their stars.
Really?
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
I don't know. Maybe just to like stick it to the
Industry.
Stick it to
industry?
the man?
yeah. I was like, interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I think I actually took a picture of his star.
Did you?
When we were
When
in
you went?
California years and years ago. Yeah.
I think those are really nice. I like the idea of the stars because we have that here too, the Canada
We
Walk
do.
of Fame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right outside the Commodore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice little.
I walk
Gesture.
down the street going, I know that one, I know that one, I know that one.
Yeah.
Every time I go there.
So, what are some of the fun little things?
Fun little things. Well, it's not really an unknown thing, but he preferred his videos to be called short films.
That's fair.
Because that's pretty much what
They
they
are.
were.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows he was gifted an elephant by Elizabeth Taylor.
Yes.
As a
So
thank
fun.
you for allowing her wedding at his ranch.
Yeah.
He named the elephant Gypsy.
Love that.
This is one I didn't know. Despite thousands of fans at his shows, he would recognize some of them and say, "Hey, I know you," to show how much he was really loved and grateful for his fans.
I love that. That's nice to be recognized.
It was. So apparently, he was named a king in one of the small villages of the Ivory Coast in Africa while he was touring there because he was so loved.
Wow.
It says he was given the name Michael Jackson Amalaman, I think, by the tribal chief. He wore a traditional gown for his coronation, for which a full ceremony was held, including papers that were signed in order to make his kingship official. And he
Wow.
remained king of the Ivory Coast until his death.
Wow.
Apparently, it was said that his ancestry is from that part of the world and that he was the rightful heir to the Sanwi tribe. And when he died, the chief requested MJ's body, but of course was denied.
Of course.
But he still held a 2-day ceremony in his memory where more than 1,000 villagers gathered.
Wow.
Right?
That's yeah.
That's-
That's actually kind of cool.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. There's so many things that he's done.
Well, you were mentioning, the short films as it was. I like the one that you had dug up that in '96 he did a short film, Michael Jackson's Ghosts, starring Michael Jackson, but it was written by Stephen King. So
Right.
I have to find that and watch that now.
Let's see, what else did I got? Apparently, he always wore the black armband
Love that one.
to remind people of all the children suffering in the world. Apparently, all he ever wanted to do was heal all the problems. Hence, songs like "Heal the World," "Man in the Mirror," which is my personal favorite.
Love that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense with his, the childhood he had,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
That he would be wanting to protect all the children. And
he loved
think
Peter
about-
Pan. No surprise there.
No surprise there.
Wow.
He has an action figure apparently,
I
or
remember
had an
that.
action figure. Yeah,
I
released by
remember it.
Street Life in '97, only in Europe apparently.
And it had the little glove, didn't it? I think it had the sparkly glove. I remember seeing pictures of it.
It must have. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says it was a design of MJ from the video Black or White, but there was also a singing version of the doll as well as another that sang a clip of "Beat It."
Okay, I kind of want to find those.
I know, right?
Be fun to have.
I'm sure there's collectors out there that have it, but it would be a small fortune to
It'd be
buy
very
it.
expensive.
Yeah, no doubt.
So he had some releases after his death, hey? What is
Yeah.
this? Honored with the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation Legacy Award for humanitarian service with his children, Prince Michael and Paris accepting on his behalf. I think there was a couple albums or something that were released. One of them was like a live one. Where did I read it? Now I've mixed up all my notes.
Right? There was Escape features Usher performing "Love Never Felt
There
So
it is,
Good."
yeah.
Debuted at number 2 on the Billboard's Top 200 album chart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this one that you put in here, which I guess would have been just last October. Netflix has released an animated short of Sing Thriller, so it's the Thriller
We saw
song.
that.
yeah.
Yeah, we watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I found that right around Halloween.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was the cutest thing ever.
Cutest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we watched it a dozen times. Just like, we missed that part. We missed that part. We gotta watch it
I
again.
think I watched it a few times too. I think I'm missing a page of my notes.
I was just looking at the awards as well.
Oh yeah, his awards.
38 Grammy nominations.
Like holy crap.
But 13 wins, including Album of the Year for Thriller, Record of the Year, Beat It,
Yeah.
and Song of the Year, We Are the World. And his first in 1980 for Don't Stop Till You Get Enough.
That's crazy.
Sorry, the Grammy nominations reminded me of Deadpool protecting Nickelback. Juno Awards, those count
Those
too.
count too.
Those count. I think, ultimately, musical prodigy, genius, what have you, whatever way you want to say it for him, the music he put out was amazing. The dances, all that stuff, choreography that he did was outstanding and something you probably will never see again. Not to the caliber of what he put out.
Yeah.
Gone too soon. And, from what I was reading too, it's sad that he couldn't even walk out in public without a disguise. And even those disguises didn't work. But
Yeah.
he just wanted to go out and see how
How
people lived that weren't in his situation, like how normal people live. And that's sad when you have to go out to look to see how normal people live.
That one is a difficult one because obviously he was thrust into the limelight
Yeah.
at such a
young
young
age.
A young age,
He
yeah.
never had an opportunity of a normal life. And then obviously, he had a great life with the superstardom and stuff like this, but never had that
Normal
moment
life.
alone.
Didn't get to be a
or,
child.
Exactly. Yeah.
It sounds stupid, but we take it for granted. But the ability to walk to a grocery store and just buy what you need without
Without people bugging
Without
or staring.
being mobbed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What kind of life is that? You're like in a cage.
like obviously, for lack of better terms, you sell your soul when you're trying to become
Yeah.
someone famous, and it's just no one ever thinks of what that actually costs you.
Yeah.
Your freedom. You
For
no longer
sure.
have freedom. You have freedom of money, but not freedom of life.
No.
Exactly. That's a good way of
Whoa.
putting it. That's a really good way of putting it.
Here at the Music Roundtable, we go deep.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the last notes I kind of had were just kind of some closing remarks, I guess.
Okay.
Just that he'll forever be known as a musical legend despite his strange life. His music is catchy with its sing-along capability
Yeah.
and lyrics that stay with you. His influence is still felt today throughout his legacy. It serves as a reminder of the power of music and the art to transcend boundaries and bring people together.
Beautiful. I think that's great. We should end it there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. All right. Catch you guys on the flip side. B-side, flip side, same difference. It's been a Sunday. Talk to you later.
Thank you for joining us on the Music Roundtable. Please like and comment where you listen to the podcast. And make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter and let us know what you would like us to talk about. Until next time.